Hello and welcome to Retro Reviews, my channel where I review my favorite retro video games of all time as well as some modern releases I've recently finished. The modern release I want to look at today is What Remains of Edith Finch. Now, I really like walking simulator games, especially since they put out so many really good ones, and What Remains of Edith Finch is actually my personal favorite in the walking simulator genre because of how much of an emotional impact it left on me after finishing it so many years ago. This game was also nominated for several Game Awards. It won one. It didn't win Game of the Year, but it won a Game Award and several other awards for being such a finely crafted story. It's typically, like most walking simulators, you're going to be walking a lot, but you'll also be doing little puzzles and such. You'll be unraveling the mysteries of the Finch family that from Edith's perspective. Now, she is the last surviving member of her family, traveling back to her ancestral home at the age of 17 to kind of figure out what's gone on to have everybody die. There's a supposed curse on the family, and she kind of unravels the stories of all of her family members that have passed on and kind of the mysterious circumstances that went along with them as well. I won't be getting into the nitty-gritty of all of the characters in this game. It's better left to your actual playthrough of the game, and I actually really encourage you to go out and check this one out because it's one that's gone on sale. It's really cheap now. At this point, it's several years old. It got a port to current generation as well. This is one that really demands to be experienced firsthand. But I want to talk about what I loved about it and what kind of the emotional impact it left on me. So like I said, she's the last remaining member of this family. She travels back to her ancestral home and learns about a lot of her ancestors. A lot of people, not only like far away ancestors, but like all the people that lived in this home or lived close by or that left the home. You have instances of people that got scared of this supposed curse and like went away or locked themselves up in a place so they could survive as long as possible. There's some really interesting circumstances, the way that some of the characters end up dying, and she gets to really understand what's going on in this place. And that is to say that she doesn't understand what's going on. She comes to just learn all the information about their deaths and still has no real idea of what's actually happening, which is kind of nice as well as it is like haunting. It's a weird mix of a serene game and a really haunting, almost sinister kind of experience. That's what I love about walking simulators typically. Like if you look at Gone Home, it has a similar kind of ambience in the background. It feels almost scary and sinister at times, despite nothing scary going on. Edith Finch kind of has that throughout the entire experience. It almost feels intense, kind of like an Alfred Hitchcock movie in a lot of ways. You feel like there's a lot of tension, even though you know nothing is really going to happen to your character. And as you progress throughout the story, you learn about all these family members and how they ended up dying, and it's really a crazy experience altogether. I don't know how to really talk about this game without spoiling a lot of it. I'll talk about two of the most impactful ones for me, and then hopefully it won't give you a whole lot of spoiler elements. But if you want to skip ahead maybe a minute or two, that's probably going to give you enough time. So I'm going to be talking about two of the instances in this game. One of them that really left an impact in me was a boy swinging on a swing, wanting to go as high as he could, and the swing was positioned pretty poorly near the edge of a cliff leading to like a beach, and the boy wants to swing as high as he can, all by himself. He's swinging higher and higher, and he wants to launch into the sky and fly like a bird. And he goes as high as he can. You get to like experience this firsthand from Edith's perspective. So as you're like finding like entries and stuff, learning about these family members that have passed on, you get to kind of experience what they did. You kind of shift, and the art style changes, and the world around you changes, and all of a sudden you're experiencing what they experienced. So in this instance, you're all of a sudden on the swing, going higher and higher. You've learned the story. You're hearing this narration in the background, and suddenly jumps out of the swing at the peak of the height of the swing here. Actually, like I think it talks about him like going around and around the swing, wanting to go as fast as possible, launching out of the swing and meeting his demise because he flies off the cliff and ends up dying. So it's probably one of the most sad ones because I think it's the youngest child that ends up dying this way. Another one is equally sad and equally ominous and mysterious. After learning about this curse, locks himself away in a bunker for a very long time, trying to just survive as much as possible. You discover this bunker later in the game, and you find out that the first day they stepped outside of that bunker after so many years, after living to a pretty old age, gets hit by a train. And like almost immediately. So you have these really mysterious circumstances. You get the feeling that this is a cursed family, that this is truly like a bad thing happening to them, that this isn't just happenstance. Everyone's not just dying mysteriously, that this is actually something sinister happening. But the game, of course, never really divulges any definitive information for you. The ending, I won't spoil at all. I won't talk about that here. But it kind of gives you hints and little bits and pieces here that will say, yes, the curse is real, or no, this is just a bunch of happenstance. You just have people that are dying in mysterious ways. It's not really all connected, it's just bad luck. And I really like what Edith Finch does. It's hard to explain every bit of nuance, what makes this game so good. The primary thing, like I talked about earlier with the transitions into being the character that ended up dying and how they died and experiencing it from their point of view, are really cool. The way that the world shifts around you and you experience like a new environment, and the different character that you play as, or that you take the role of, in this instance, they see the world in different ways, and you'll see them experiencing this world in their own way. You'll see colors change, you'll see the style change a little bit, and it's really gorgeous. It's really beautiful. It's one of those games, again, that you need to experience yourself to really understand what it's all about. But I will say that What Remains of Edith Finch is one of those games that is hard to get through because it is pretty sad. It's pretty haunting in a lot of ways, but it's also one of those things that will leave a huge impact when you finish playing it. And I highly recommend you go and check it out because it is something special. For the walking genre especially, but in terms of just a narrative, it tells a really beautiful and satisfying story, despite being so kind of eerie and ominous throughout the whole thing. I'm going to give What Remains of Edith Finch a platinum rank. The best walking simulator that there is right now. Highly recommend you go check it out. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.